2019 was a busy year for the Rockville 11 team.
As you counted on us to keep you informed.
From making political history to the city joining in the fight against opioid abuse, it was a year of milestones and accomplishments that we made sure the community knew about.
And before we move forward into a new decade, we take this time to look back.
This is Rock 11 Now Weekly's 2019 year in review, so let's get into it. Rockville has done what no other city in the state has done by conducting a vote-by-mail election. That election made political history and brought us a new mayor and council. Here's a look back at this historic moment, as well as the introduction to the 66th mayor and council. Rockville's mayor and council voted unanimously back in April of 2019 to hold all city elections using the vote-by-mail process beginning with the 2019 elections. Rockville became the first city in Maryland to use voting by mail as its main method of voting. The city's Board of Supervisors of Elections made the recommendation for the new voting process, among other reasons, as a way to increase voter turnout in the city elections. And according to the unofficial election results, it appears that that process did just that. A total of 12,213 ballots were cast. That's an increase of over 80% between 2015 and 2019. There are at least 22 states in the country that currently use vote by mail for local and state elections. The Rockville Board of Supervisors of Elections and the City Clerk, Director of Council Operations, has certified all the election ballots, and Rockville has a new mayor and council. A total of 12,287 ballots were cast. Voters re-elect Bridget Donald Newton as mayor of Rockville. And Monique Ashton, Beryl L. Feinberg, David Miles, and Mark Pershela will serve on Rockville's City Council. Beryl L. Feinberg and Mark Pershela return to the City Council. Monique Ashton and David Miles are new to the council, serving their first terms. The mayor and council will serve 4-year terms.
After a historic and successful vote-by-mail election, the 66th Rockville Mayor and Council were sworn in on November 17, 2019.
For the next 4 years, we are fortunate to be represented by a pleasantly diverse group of intelligent, talented, dedicated, and compassionate individuals.
Mayor Bridget Donald Newton is optimistic about her next 4 years of service.
I think it's going to be a very great dynamic that the city hasn't seen in a long time, with everybody having done their homework and bringing creative solutions forward. I'm really, really excited.
Council members, both seasoned and new, also express enthusiasm about their roles in shaping Rockville's future.
I am honored to serve, and today is a day of fresh beginnings and coming together to collaborate to support this great city of Rockville.
Today is another occasion to renew, become reinvigorated, and to do the people's work on behalf of the residents, businesses, and nonprofits that are in the city of Rockville.
I'm very thankful for all the people in the community that put their trust in me. And I do hope to make everybody proud and working on behalf of all people here in Rockville.
Well, it feels very good. I've been here before, and the two new members, Monique Ashton and David Miles, they bring a lot to the table, so I'm looking very much forward to that.
With this new council beside me, I see a brand new ending for many of the opportunities on our incredible city's horizon. And friends, as we take this first step together, let us bring our best selves, our childlike acceptance, our open minds, and our willingness to see the possibilities, so that together we will serve the people who elected us as the 2019 City of Rockville Mayor and Council. Thank you.
Still to come on Rock 11 Now Weekly's 2019 Year in Review. The Rockville City Police Department hires its first deputy chief and makes a historic move in the ranks, all while making another addition to help the city deal with emergency situations. We're looking at some of the RCPD's 2019 milestones right after this.
The Rockville City Police Department has a deputy chief for the first time in its history. And that deputy chief is Laura Lanham.
I feel very blessed to have that opportunity. I appreciate that they had the confidence in me to do this job. Certainly not easy, but I like to be able to write this story and what it's going to be about.
And you can't talk about her story without some history. There was no question that Lanham was going to be a police officer.
I was about 4 years old, my mom tells the story, and I looked at her and said, I'm going to be a police. And my little sister said she was going to be a police dog because she didn't want to be without me. And I achieved my goal, she did not.
And the road to becoming a police officer can be a bit of a challenge since law enforcement is a male-dominated profession. According to the National Center for Women in Policing, women in law enforcement make up about 15% of all state, municipal, and county police officers. And Lanham holding one of the top spots at RCPD may be an inspiration for those who may want a career in law enforcement.
I think that because of that, people don't see themselves in that role. And hopefully me being in a role and being out in the public, that maybe a little girl looks over and says, I can do that too.
But who inspires her? You can say being a public servant is in her DNA.
This is Helen Snap, affectionately known to me as my Aunt Bunny. She's my great aunt, always has been an inspiration to me, which is why she hangs here in my office.
To Lanham, her heroic aunt was a portrait of courage.
In the mid-40s, she was a part of a program called the WASPs, and she was a pilot. It was very unusual for women to be a pilot back in that time, and she did all kinds of things within there. Some she could talk about, some she couldn't. One of the things she talked about doing that I found so interesting was that she pulled targets for young pilots. So the inevitable happened, she was shot down. She talked about that and she would laugh, but even in her later years when she talked about those times, she was very wide-eyed.
Aunt Bunny would not only tell her about those adventures, but she would also provide her with a branch on her family tree.
Another thing that I found very interesting about Aunt Bunny was that nobody in my family had mentioned that I was related to Jeanette Rankin. Jeanette Rankin was the first woman in Congress. While Aunt Bunny was serving, she would go visit Jeanette Rankin, who was very much involved in the suffrage movement and getting that moved into legal voting for women. Anytime I feel like I'm having a hard day, I just look up at Aunt Bunny and I know it's not that hard after all.
And it's that reassurance that has kept her protecting and serving for almost 3 decades, with the city of Rockville serving as the location for the current chapter in her law enforcement career.
I was pretty familiar with Rockville since I spent so long in Montgomery County, but not until I got here in Rockville that I felt the warmth of the community.
Deputy Chief Lanham wants to create a larger footprint when it comes to community policing here in Rockville.
The time for us to get to know each other is in the middle of a crisis. It's well before that. Those relationships need to be established so that we can have dialogue and express our concerns and understand point of views within the community.
And by strengthening the relationship with the community and police, Deputy Chief Laura Lanham is well on her way to creating her own story here in Rockville.
Mark Landahl arrived at Rockville in August to serve as the city's first emergency manager.
Being in a new position is exciting. I'm laying the foundation for the future of preparedness in the city. It's a big challenge, a big responsibility.
Mark will create an emergency preparedness plan for all city departments and provide strategies to help the city respond to emergencies, recover from them, and reduce their severity.
The emergency management position is not just about the police department. It's all of city departments. It's a whole of city preparedness piece. So in that position, I'm working with the police department, across all city departments, and then up with the county government as well to make sure that we can deliver all of those capabilities to our citizens in an emergency.
Accepting this opportunity to work in Rockville was a no-brainer.
When you can come in and have a mayor and council and have department heads and Chief Brito that are really looking to move the city forward in preparedness, it's an opportunity that you can't pass up.
Mark has a wide range of work experience as a congressional staffer, a teacher, and serving with a neighboring sheriff's office.
I spent 23 years working in Frederick County. I started as a social studies teacher in Frederick County schools, moved into the sheriff's office where I moved up to my final position being the commander of the Homeland Security section for the sheriff's office. And with that, I hope to use that background of experience to start here and build a program that's successful long term. Preparedness really starts in the home. We have a path forward now, starting with the city and increasing preparedness in the city, and that's where it needs to roll from there into our community organizations and into our households in the community.
For Rock 11 Now Weekly, I'm Craig Buchanan.
I, Jan Selhammer,
do swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
do swear I will support the Constitution of the United States.
And with that, Jan Selhammer is now part of Rockville City Police Department history. She became the first woman to ever be promoted to the rank of lieutenant at the department. Rockville 11 joined Lieutenant Selhammer and her family for this historic moment.
I'm feeling proud that I'm able to accomplish a first for this department. However, we have always had a level playing field within the Rockville City Police Department, and there are a lot of women who have paved the way for me to be here. So I'm just proud that I can be the first and hopefully one of many. My husband is 110% supportive, but my father has been there for me from day one. He didn't really agree with my decision to become a police officer as a protective father, but he's been there for me every step of the way. So I couldn't think of anybody else who should pin my badge.
I'm just amazed at how far she's come. I knew she was always tough from a little girl on up, but I never could have imagined she'd have the success she has today. I'm just extremely proud.
Congratulations to the Rockville City Police Department's newest furry recruit and human partner. Corporal Zagani and his K-9 Bolo graduated on July 25th from the Montgomery County Police Department's K-9 Patrol School. The pair completed a 16-week program of extensive training.
It's physically and mentally demanding. It requires a lot of focus and dedication. You'll be running a lot. You'll be, manipulating a dog a lot, getting him to a certain position. And the dogs are very, very strong and they're very, very smart. So everything that you do, they're watching you very carefully. So it requires you to be 100% focused when you're engaged in training with them.
Bolo officially hit the streets of Rockville on August 1st. His new career allows him to assist officers with building searches, tracking missing persons or suspects, and locating items that could be linked to a crime.
He's a very, very smart dog. Very honored to have him as my partner. And now we're just looking forward to getting out on the road to help other officers.
For Rock 11 Now Weekly, I'm Craig Buchanan.
It's a chance for me to get to meet all the different people in the different communities within Rockville. So that is a unique opportunity for me when I'm just starting this position. But National Night Out all together is just getting people from our communities out from their houses and out from their everyday activities and meeting each other and developing the relationships within their communities.
Our neighbors, we're all really close anyway. A lot of us know each other. Our kids go to school together. So it's really fun to just have another excuse to get together. And we just love to support the police officers as much as we can.
Oh, it's a collaboration with the police. It's a partnership. And the foundation of all good police work is a partnership and a collaboration with the community. It's a celebration. It has been for many, many years. And Rockville has a very robust, National Night Out program.
On the way on Rock 11 Now Weekly's 2019 Year in Review, Rockville and the Urban Land Institute tapped into ways to address the opportunities and challenges facing Town Center. While the Rockville Chamber of Commerce got a new look, we're looking back at city news from 2019 right after this.
Rockville's town center just went under the microscope. A panel of Urban Land Institute experts explored Rockville for 2 days to recommend actions for improving the vitality of the city's town center. The group of experts, known as a Technical Assistance Panel, or TAP, gave their suggestions during a public presentation.
So what we want to do here is kind of walk you through some of our observations and some of the issues that were raised, and then really talk about how we can strengthen your business and retail strategies.
One suggestion is to increase street parking and bike lanes to consistently bring people to town center and encourage them to shop. They also proposed ways to enrich the many entrances to town center for elevating the public's first impression of the city.
Rockville has some of the most beautiful parks in the region. That should be what I see when I entered Rockville Town Center. That's what y'all are about. It shouldn't be about cross streets and large roads and traffic signals.
The next step after this presentation will be to have a discussion with Rockville's Mayor and Council about the results of the panel's report.
The panel will produce a report that will come out sometime in the next 4 to 6 weeks. We'll make sure that the Mayor and Council and the public has access to that report. And from that, there will be a discussion with the Mayor and Council and the public on which of these ideas are things we should run with and what else could be supplemented.
More information about the presentation and a link to the report will become available on rockvillereports.com. For Rock 11 Now Weekly, I'm Craig Buchanan.
The Mayor and Council vote to use a master planning process that would include public input to help determine the future of the former 18-hole golf course Redgate. But first, the Mayor and Council will wait until an ongoing strategic planning process called the Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Plan, or PROS Plan, is complete before making final decisions on the approach to the master planning process. The PROS Plan sets goals and objectives for the future of parks, trails, recreation facilities, programs, and services within the city, and will be central to the Mayor and Council's effort to shape plans for the Redgate property. The PROS Plan is expected to be presented to the Mayor and Council by the end of 2019. For more information on this latest development, check out the article in July's Rockville Reports. And to watch the Mayor and Council's latest discussion on Redgate, head to rockvillemd.gov/agenda center and select the TV icon next to the June 17th agenda item.
Rockville Economic Development Incorporated, or REDI, welcomes Cynthia Stewart as its new executive director. Stewart is an experienced commercial real estate lawyer and a skilled economic developer. She most recently served as the deputy city manager of Coral Springs, Florida, and has held other positions in Maryland, California, and Florida. Her background also includes art and theater, which helped draw her to town.
Rockville is a really great, inclusive community, and I really like the intelligent workforce here. I like the access to culture and things to do. I'm really glad to be back in the Maryland area, which is so strong in those areas.
The executive director of REDI leads the organization to attract, grow, and retain businesses within Rockville so that job opportunities can rise.
I think Rockville is really poised for being able to move forward in this economy. We have a great opportunity with the downtown, with the development that's coming to Rockville Pike. Very strong biohealth sector and growing cybersecurity sector.
Cynthia is excited to work with REDI's board of directors and the Rockville Mayor and Council to realize where Rockville can grow and appreciate what's important to the people here.
Which is education, it's having good jobs, having a place where your kids can grow up and come back to.
For more information about REDI and the organization's current projects, head to rockvilleredi.org.
A major step is taken to help boost the stabilization and revitalization of Rockville Town Center. 1, 2, 3. All right. Dawson's Market reopened its doors, thanks in part to the Rockville Small Business Impact Fund. This fund was created in partnership with Rockville and Rockville Economic Development Incorporated or READY.
READY was able to participate by providing a small business impact fund grant to Dawson's, and we're really excited that it's working to bring them back. Our mission is to help other businesses in the city to grow and expand and bring jobs and help the economy here. So any other small business that's interested in the fund should give us a call.
After the fund's pilot year, READY will request additional funding to support the program. For more information on the Rockville Small Business Impact Fund, including how to apply, head to rockvilleready.org or call 301-355-2202.
Women now create businesses at more than twice the rate of men. But there are a lot of obstacles to starting a business. Thankfully, there's a women empowerment nonprofit that's headquartered in Rockville that can smooth out that bumpy road to success.
The Maryland Women's Business Center has a mission to help start, sustain, and grow women-owned enterprises. Our vision is to be one of the regional leaders in supporting successful and innovative women entrepreneurs that will help strengthen Maryland's economy.
The Maryland Women's Business Center offers specialized seminars and workshops, one-on-one and group business counseling, and access to a variety of business resources.
We have a number of volunteers that will come in and provide expertise in whatever their area is. So it could be accounting, it could be an attorney that will come in and provide pro bono legal services. All of those things are available to clients through the Maryland Women's Business Center.
Established back in November 2010 as the Rockville Women's Business Center, this nonprofit served as a special initiative by Rockville Economic Development Incorporated to help women business owners in Montgomery County.
And it came out of a feasibility study that was done with Citibank. They saw there was a need for a resource that provided specific services to women entrepreneurs in the area, and there was none.
3 years later, they became a certified women's business center by the Small Business Administration. That brought a name change and the ability to expand their vital services across the state. In 2014, they were able to open satellite offices in both Frederick and Prince George's counties. By reaching more women entrepreneurs across the state, the center delivers a tremendous impact on Maryland's economy.
What we have been able to do just in the 3 counties that we're currently occupying and providing services in is help 41 businesses get started. We were able to help them increase their sales by $1.9 million and to get access to capital, which amounted to $2.6 million.
The Maryland Women's Business Center assists more than 1,500 women each year to gain the skills, connections, and confidence necessary to navigate entrepreneurship. But why stop there?
The work that we have done has already proven that the impact that we're having is tremendous for the state of Maryland, and if we were able to get additional resources to expand into other counties, it would be that much more impactful.
For more information about the Maryland Women's Business Center and to get assistance, head to marylandwbc.org.
I'd like to show you the results of the efforts and present you with the new RCC logo.
And with that, the Rockville Chamber of Commerce unveils its new logo. The Chamber formed a marketing committee that consisted of several Rockville marketing and communication business professionals.
Margie's vision that brought us together, because what Margie did was she said, hey, I know you guys normally don't play well together, but for the best interest of the city of Rockville, for our chamber, based on the fact that you guys at the end of the day support business and entrepreneurship, if you could help support the Rockville Chamber, we could create a business enterprise that other people can tap into. So it really took a village.
And the result may look simple, but it has a lot of symbolism, with the inspiration coming from the Rockville flag and the city's main thoroughfare, Rockville Pike.
We created 3 parallel lines. The 2 blue ones represent the businesses in Rockville and the community, and the Rockville Chamber of Commerce is the red line in the middle that tries to bridge between the 2. The red line in the middle represents Rockville Pike, and the blue lines on either side represent the community that surrounds it, just as it was and has been and is growing to be.
To learn more about the Rockville Chamber, head to rockvillechamber.org.
What makes up Rockville? You know, what makes up Rockville? What are our assets? And the Pike is a huge asset. So let's encompass it. Let's embrace it. The community with the businesses, because that's who we are.
Up next on Rock 11 Now Weekly's 2019 Year in Review, Rockville's global family grew by adding a new sister city, and the city turned purple for a purpose. We're looking at some of the stories that impacted Rockville's communities right after this.
What is the 2020 census? Every 10 years, the census records everyone living in this country. It's written in the Constitution and comes in a questionnaire that counts everyone who lives at your address on April 1st. The data can be used to inform funding for services like fire stations, schools, clinics, and representation that affect your community. Shape your future. Start here. Visit 2020census.gov.
All those in favor of making Yilan, Taiwan, a sister city of the city of Rockville, please raise your hand. It is unanimous. Thank you.
It's official. Yilan, Taiwan is now a Rockville sister city. Earlier this year, Rockville Sister Cities Corporation played host to a delegation from Yilan as part of Taiwan Culture Week. It included the second annual Taiwan Bubble Tea Festival. As a sign of friendship, the delegation presented a ceremonial gong to the city and the mayor and council. To learn more about Rockville Sister Cities Corporation, head to rockvillesistercities.org.
Now, therefore, the Mayor and Council of the City of Rockville do hereby proclaim September 2019 as National Recovery Month and urge all people of Rockville to join the fight to prevent mental and substance use disorders and to support recovery efforts.
By proclaiming September to be National Recovery Month, Rockville's Mayor and Council continues the city's Rockville Goes Purple campaign. The city will continue to recognize National Recovery Month with a display of purple lights to boost awareness. The Rockville Goes Purple initiative was launched to increase awareness of the dangers of opioid overdoses and reduce the number of lives lost to drug addiction. For more information, head to rockvillemd.gov/Rockville Goes Purple. For Rock 11 Now Weekly, I'm Craig Buchanan. The rehabilitation project for the John C. Brown Memorial Bridge on Edmonston Drive is now complete. The bridge features a newly installed plaque display honoring the first Maryland resident killed during the Korean War.
One of the community requests was to make it more connected to the bridge, so we relocated the plaque from the intersection of Rockville Pike and Edmonston up to the bridge itself.
The previous plaque display was lower to the ground and had been smashed by a vehicle.
Pieces went everywhere, but we were able to reclaim the plaque. The Maryland Historic Trust helped and cleaned the plaque, removing all the old tarnish and polishing it.
The construction project started in August of 2018 and finalized a year later this past July.
The majority of the construction on the bridge was to repair structural elements underneath the bridge deck. A lot of the concrete below was restored and repaired to extend its structural capacity.
The final months of construction focused on repairing the concrete deck and sidewalks, as well as replacing the fences. The bridge provides a critical link between the eastern and western portions of the city over the Metro Rail and CSX tracks on Edmonston Drive. The repairs were necessary to help the bridge reach its full life expectancy. For more information about the bridge's rehabilitation plan, head to rockvillereports.com and search for Edmonston. For Rock 11 Now Weekly, I'm Craig Buchanan.
The mural of Sugarloaf Mountain that's on the wall of the lobby of Rockville City Police Department is now a forever stamp.
Today is a very special day for the city of Rockville. Our Sugarloaf Mountain mural is now a forever stamp.
Well, this building is Rockville City's community building. It's the police station, but it's their police station. It's our community's police station. That's what it's all about.
This is an historic building, so it's just a pleasure to have these murals still intact, not only here, but throughout many of the post offices and public buildings throughout the United States.
The oil-on-canvas mural, painted in 1938 by Judson Smith, was commissioned by the federal government as a Works Progress Administration project. In 2016, thanks to a city conservation project, the mural was restored and revived to look like new. The stamp will be sold as a pane of 10 stamps and is available right now. Just head to USPS.com and click on the postal store, and then search Post Office Murals. Pickleball combines tennis, ping pong, and badminton, and it's a sport that is trending, and Rockville wants to make sure you have a place to play.
This is literally the first dedicated pickleball facility in all of Montgomery County. What we're typically doing is going to tennis courts, chalking it, dropping plastic lines, setting up portable nets.
There are 4 new pickleball courts at Mattie J.T. Stepanek Park that even feature lighting so you can play at night.
These pickleball courts that the city of Rockville have just put in, they're a lifesaver for me. I was traveling a lot to play pickleball, and now I get to come 10 minutes to these dedicated courts.
Rockville also offers drop-in play opportunities at the city's community centers. Find out more by checking out Recreation and Parks Activity Guide, Life in Rockville. You can pick one up at any community center or check it out online at rockvillemd.gov/life.
From City Hall to Capitol Hill, the Richard Montgomery Jaguar Scholars spent a day participating in a roundtable discussion with local leaders. The group then headed to Capitol Hill, where they shared a special meeting with Representative and Civil Rights icon John Lewis.
Meeting Rosa Parks, meeting Dr. King changed my life. Had a wonderful teacher. On one occasion she said to me, "Read, my child, read," and I tried to read everything.
Rockville's King Farm community is celebrating a major milestone. The King Farm Neighbors Village is the first village organization in the city to officially launch neighbor-to-neighbor services. Members can request rides to doctor appointments and grocery stores, get friendly visits to their home, and receive regular friendly phone calls to make sure that they are doing okay. The all-volunteer nonprofit is dedicated to gathering neighbors to look out for each other and improving the quality of life for residents over the age of 55.
We're what is called an Aging in Place organization, so our mission is to provide services to the residents of this community so that they can stay in their homes as long as possible.
To apply for member services or become a volunteer, visit kfnv.org. If you'd like to learn more about Rockville's Villages organizations, contact Villages Facilitator Trish Evans at 240-314-8807 or head to rockvillemd.gov/villages. The Interfaith Works Women's Center is an emergency shelter in Rockville that helps women recover from heartbreaking life events. To better soothe the souls of their guests, the center commissions art to transform their walls into a gallery of healing. One exhibit featured local artist Lauren Kingsland, whose quilts were a perfect fit for the guests to start their journey towards recovery.
My name is Lauren Kingsland, and I'm a professional quilt artist. My business, Custom Quilt Studio, just had its 26th anniversary. I do commissions for people. I teach. I've written some books. I've lived in Maryland since 1984. My husband was given a job at the National Library of Medicine. My children were raised here in Montgomery County. I've done work at the intersection of art and healing, with quilt as the medium for helping folks process difficult things in their lives through creative expression. A quilt is an analogy for putting the pieces together and taking a pile of something that's a mess and making something orderly and beautiful out of it. Resonates with a lot of people. People are reminded of being cared for, being loved, being tucked in. Patricia Dubroff is the gallery director for that program, and Patricia and I have been friends for many, many, many years. So when she started this Interfaith Works gallery, she knew what my work looked like. She knew that I had a body of work that was available. I did do a workshop for staff, and I did do a workshop for guests. And in those workshops, they each made their own piece that they could keep. One of the pieces in the Interfaith Works show was called The Road Home, and it has houses all over it and a path that spirals from the upper left corner around to the center. Whether the road is going from the house at the center to out into the world, or from out into the world back to the center, is left to the viewer. And the road is made out of squares that have the response of 74 members of the public to the prompt, home is ... Mainly, home was not about the building at all. It was about the presence of people and the feeling that they had when they were home. It was a place where they felt secure, where they were accepted. I was really happy to put that quilt into the Interfaith Works show, into a place where the issue of reinventing a home was very much on the minds of the community there. And I made that while I was going through a divorce. That was my way of finding out what everybody else thought was a home as I was reinventing home for myself. The center it's clean, but it's very, very austere without the art collection. It's a lot of blank walls, and they got to live with the pieces for a long time. The presence of something handmade and beautiful and colorful really mattered to them, really mattered. It says, this is a homey place for you. The quilt, just by its nature, is about comfort. I was very touched by the response. I've had exhibits in all kinds of places. A lot of success exhibiting my work. This was different. This was really special. People who choose to go to art galleries have a choice, but people who get to see this when they don't have a lot of choices, that was really moving. Emergencies are, by definition, unplanned. Anybody can end up without a place to live. All it takes is loss of a job, a fire, a bad divorce, and suddenly anybody can end up with no place to go. So it's nice to know that there is a safety net.
The Interfaith Works Women's Center helps hundreds of women every year. You can be a part of helping change lives by volunteering. Head to iworksmc.org or call the Women's Center at 301-770-2413. For Rock 11 Now Weekly, I'm Craig Buchanan.
Thanks for joining us as we look back on some of our favorite stories from 2019. Remember to keep watching Rockville 11 to see what the new decade will bring.
And don't forget, you can always check out the latest happenings on our online newsletter at rockvillereports.com. You can also join in the conversation and check out our post by signing up for Nextdoor at nextdoor.com.
And keep up with Rockville 11 by subscribing to our City of Rockville YouTube channel. And you can follow us on Twitter at Rockville 11, on Instagram at city_of_Rockville, and like us on Facebook.
For the entire Rockville 11 Now Weekly team, I'm Craig Buchanan.
And I'm Kathy Dantzler.
Have a happy New Year, Rockville!